Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live, bringing you the weekly roundup of big stage live streams for this week, December 9th through December 15th. And there are an awful lot of them. There are performing artists from all around the world pouring out their hearts, minds, and souls into creating these experiences of truth and beauty, and maybe just having a good time. All for you to enjoy, almost all of which are free of charge. This week we have the resuscitation or the reconstruction of a lost ballet from 1984, which is taking place way out in Tomsk, Russia, which is 6 time zones ahead of Europe and 12 time zones ahead of the East Coast in the US, halfway around the world. We've got Christmas concerts from choirs from as far away as Melbourne and as close as Cincinnati or where? Or Berlin, and Yule oratorios and much more. So let's get to what we have for you this week, because you know Christmas is coming. You know, and as in the old song, Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat. Please put a penny in the old man's hat. If you're watching this, the penny in the old man's hat is your subscribing to Access Arts Live wherever you're finding us, especially on YouTube. And the penny in the hat is also liking this video. So let's get down to the action that we have for you this week. As I have mentioned to you, we have a range of different kinds of productions coming up. And the first of these is coming to us from Moscow, from the Moscow Philharmonic, Tuesday, December 10th, 7 o'clock Moscow time, 5 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast. It's the new Russian state orchestra, Novaya Rossiya State Orchestra, with Philippe Kopachevsky on the piano. But it's a little bit mysterious because we're told that they'll be playing Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, Symphony number 5 in C minor, Opus 67. That's no mystery, but the mystery is, well, then why is Philippe Kopachevsky, this 23-year-old prodigy, a pianist on the program? And we don't know why, but you might want to tune in. He's a student at the Moscow Tchaikovsky Conservatory who has won 8 international piano competitions, including the Franz Schubert piano competition in Germany. So might be worthwhile turning in just to find out what he's doing. It's free of charge. Then on Thursday, another offering from Russia, the Tomsk Symphony Orchestra will be attempting to reconstruct the ballet Confession by the Soviet Russian composer Edison Denisov. He composed this back in 1984. It was performed once at the Estonia Theater in Tallinn, Estonia in 1984. And they did a brief tour in Moscow. Then it disappeared. All that's left is the score, which they'll be playing, newspaper clippings, and some photo fragments. So the choreographer Ekaterina Alexenko, together with the dance group Oxygen, is going to be working on reconstructing the ballet from what they have, while the orchestra is playing selections from the ballet. Also on Thursday, did I give you the time for that? I better not forget the time because it's a little peculiar. They're 6 hours ahead of Europe. So this will be at 7 in the evening, UTC plus 6, or it's UTC plus 7, which will be 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Europe, 7 in the morning on the East Coast, and 4 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast in the United States. If you are a huge ballet enthusiast and have overriding curiosity about Denisov's Confession Ballet. Later in the day, about 6 hours later in the day, as a matter of fact, the Bergen Philharmonic is back with another free of charge live stream. And this one, they will be doing 2 pieces, which are all really, well, First, let me tell you, the composers of the two pieces are Mahler and Wagner. I have a photo of the two guys for you to take a look at so you can be checking them out while I'm talking about them. They will be doing Gustav Mahler's Fifth Symphony in the first half, and then they'll be doing Wagner's Siegfried Idyll, Idyll, in the second half. Now, here's the thing. Mahler composed that symphony, and the thing is, let me show you a picture of what the thing is, not just a picture of the two composers. This is what the thing is. Okay, Mahler composed that symphony while he was falling in love with Alma Schindler in 1901, and before the year was out, he proposed marriage to her, and they did get married. And there's a famous section of it in the fourth movement, a slow, beautiful melody part, which is an adagietto, which has been used in the scores of a number of films, which we're told was a declaration of love for Alma on his part. Now, and that's not all. The Wagner piece, the Siegfried Idyll, is based upon the much longer Siegfried piece that he had composed, but he composed this for his wife, Cosima, whom you see in the picture there, and he first played it for her himself on Christmas Day in 1870, while the Prussian troops were marching into France. But that's another story. Anyway, and initially he wanted to keep it completely private. This was just something for his wife, but other people heard of it, and it was so lovely that he had to make it public. So these are, you might not be expecting to hear two love songs from composers like Mahler and Wagner, but you will if you tune in to these live streams. So that's something. Now, this will be followed up in a Friday, Saturday kind of concert being put on by these guys, the Australia Boys Choir, Down Under. Now, this concert is on Saturday in Australia on December 14th at 5 in the early evening, late afternoon. But that's early morning, 7 a.m. in Europe, and a late Friday night, a 1 o'clock in the morning Friday night, which many people, I'm always up at 1 a.m. on Fridays, on the East Coast, and 10 p.m. on the West Coast, almost prime time. Now, it's not free of charge. It's 25 Australian dollars, as are all the concerts, which you will find live streamed on the Australian Digital Concert Hall, which I recommend to you to check out because they do have a lot of really interesting stuff, although they have a little bit less these days because we're moving into the Australian summertime, whereas they had an awful lot going on in July, August, and June, which was their wintertime. But anyway, this is a Christmas concert. It's taking place in Melbourne, which is where the Australian Boys Choir was founded. They'll have nearly 200 boys on stage, including what they call their vocal consort, which is their best singers. They'll be doing a program of more classic music in the first half, and then Christmas carols, international Christmas carols in the second half. We'll give you the link so you have the details of everything they're going to be singing. One interesting thing they're doing is they'll do several different choral works in a row based on the theme of O Magnum Mysterium, which was a Gregorian chant from the 12th century, but they're also going to sing how it was redone in the 16th century, and then again a couple of times in the 20th century. So that's sort of late Friday in the U.S., very early in the morning Friday or Saturday in Europe. And the next concert that we have for you on Friday is at 8 o'clock in the evening, European time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast. It's the Gulbenkian Orchestra playing Alban Berg's violin concerto to the memory of an angel, and Gustav Mahler's Symphony Number 9 in D major. On the violin concerto, they will have the superb American violinist Leila Josefowicz on the violin. She has premiered she's a contemporary music specialist, and the people who've written concertos specifically for her to play include Colin Matthews, John Adams, and Esa-Pekka Salonen. Oh, and Thomas Ades. So she's the bee's knees when it comes to playing violin concertos. In the next few months, she'll be playing Stravinsky's violin concerto at Princeton, and then she'll be in Syracuse playing John Adams's violin concerto, etc. Thing I might point out about it is that Alban Berg wrote this violin concerto, quote unquote, to the memory of an angel in honor of Alma Mahler's daughter, who died very young. And as for Mahler's ninth, well, you like Mahler or you don't. That will be a lot of it. Next up on the schedule on Friday, a little later in the day, Friday again, December 13th, at 8:30 in the evening, Brazilian time, and 6:30 on the East Coast, 3:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast, and midnight in Europe, the Sao Paulo Orchestra will be playing Tchaikovsky and Bruckner. And I can show you, who do we have for this? I think I have a photo here of the soloist for this particular piece. Yes, it's Jean-Guihen Queyras on the cello. So they'll be playing a couple of pieces by Tchaikovsky, variations on a Rococo theme, Opus 33, and Andante Cantabile, both of those with Jean-Guihen Queyras on the cello. And then in the second half, they will be doing more. They'll be continuing this fall's celebration of Anton Bruckner by every orchestra you can imagine by playing Bruckner's Symphony No. 4 in E-flat major. Queyras is somebody you may well want to hear. For a long time, he was with the Ensemble Intercontemporain, where he worked with Pierre Boulez. He's still with them. He's a professor at the Musik Hochschule Freiburg, which is where he first started studying 40 years ago in 1984. And he records for Harmonia Mundi and has recorded things like the cello concertos of Dvorak, Elgar, Ligeti, and others, the complete cello suites of Johann Sebastian Bach and Benjamin Britten, Beethoven's complete works for cello and piano, and many piano trios with two other musicians, Isabel Faust and Melnikov. So this guy will know what he's doing. And again, when it comes to Bruckner, well, that's one of Bruckner's most often played pieces. And it was written at the same time as these pieces by Tchaikovsky were, if that tells you anything. It's sort of the link between Schubert, Mahler, and what they call the Second Viennese School. But let's not get musicological about this, okay? Okay, so as we continue moving along, we are now on to Saturday. Saturday, December 14th at 7 in the evening, 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, 10 in the morning on the West Coast, at 7 in the evening in Europe. The Berlin Philharmonic brings in Andris Nelson, the Latvian conductor, to conduct Bruckner's majestic or monumental or very long, depending on how you feel about it, Eighth Symphony, as the Anton Bruckner birthday celebration continues. Now, Alan Gilbert conducted this piece with the Elbphilharmonic last week, and though I don't think of myself as a Bruckner lover, I have to admit Alan Gilbert made it sing, and it was a lovely experience, even for someone like me. And I do know that one of Bruckner's fiercest critics was Johannes Brahms, but after Brahms experienced this symphony, Brahms was obliged to admit, okay, yeah, this guy's a genius. So, and as for the conductor himself, I have this lovely photo that I picked up of the conductor, Andris Nilssons. He started out as a trumpeter, ended up coming in as a successor to Simon Rattle at the at the Birmingham Symphony. Then he went to the Boston Symphony Orchestra, where he still is, and he's in the process of recording all of the works of Shostakovich. And then after that, in 2018, he got appointed the Kapellmeister of the Leipzig Gewandhaus Orchestra, where he is busy recording all of Bruckner's symphonies. So this guy knows what he's doing, and it's not his first time around the block with the Berlin Philharmonic. In fact, he has twice been allowed to conduct their famous beginning of the summer Waldbühne concert outdoors. So they really love this guy. That brings us to the wind-up for this week, the last of this week's offerings that we have for you, which comes to you from the Cincinnati Pops Orchestra. And a very colorful stage it will be. This is a classic American Pops Orchestra, which will be playing all sorts of American Christmas carols, and we will give you the link to the page where you can find exactly what they are going to be playing and singing at that concert. It will be on Sunday. Let me make sure I give you the exact times. It's at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast, 1:30 late night in the morning in Europe, and 11:30 in the morning the next day, Monday morning, down in Australia. If you feel like getting up in the morning on Monday and enjoying and singing along with some American pop song type Christmas stuff. Now, there's one more event that I want to tell you about because I think it may be really special, and I really like who's involved in it. One way that people celebrate Christmas is with the Bach Christmas Oratorio, what the Swedes refer as the Yule Oratorio, the Germans the Weihnachts Oratorio, and in English we call it just the Bach Christmas Oratorio. I myself, on Christmas Day and on New Year's Eve, I am always ushering at a performance of the first of all 6 parts of this oratorio, the first 3 on Christmas Day and the second 3 parts on New Year's Eve, put on at Katarina Kyrka, the St. Catherine Church in Stockholm. This one comes to you from the Cologne Symphony Orchestra, also known as the WDR Klassik in German. Don't ask me why. It's at 8 o'clock on Saturday evening, December 14th, European time, 2 in the afternoon on your Saturday afternoon on the East Coast, 11 in the morning on the West Coast, and early 6 a.m. Sunday morning down under in Europe. It's the first 3 parts of Bach's Christmas Oratorio. I want to tell you about the people who are singing in it. I think I have a photo of them that I can share with you. Here they are. They're young, but I'm kind of impressed. The first of them there is Julia Duscher. She's a soprano. Her core concert repertoire, according to her bios, is things like the oratorios and passions of Bach, Mozart's C minor Mass, Haydn, the Creation, Mendelssohn's Lobgesang Symphony. So she's in her element here, and she should be good. Then the mezzo in this version is Helen Charleston, who won the London Handel competition in 2018. She's been a BBC New Generation artist. She's been a prize winner of the Le Jardin des Voix Academy with Les Arts Florissants in 2021-22. She recently won both the Gramophone Award for Best Concept Album and a BBC Music Magazine Vocal Award for her album Battle Cry. So I expect she'll do a fine job as well. The tenor is Kieran Carell. He's on staff now, or with the Deutsche Oper in Berlin, so he's an opera singer, but he has performed things like Haydn's Creation and he's been the evangelist in Bach's St. John Passion, etc., etc. Finally, the bass Jonas Müller was the prize winner of the 2024 International Competition for Art Song, organized by the International Hugo Wolf Academy in 2024. So it looks to me like a great group of people to enjoy the at least the first three parts of the Bach Yule Oratorio. I'm sorry they're not giving you all four parts. I hope this sounds like an interesting week for you, and something that one or more or any of these will be a moment of experiencing truth and beauty, or just having a great time. Since we started doing these live stream introductions of what's going on in the performing arts in June, we have brought to your attention over 500 live streams. Over 200 of those were for chamber music formations of different kinds, both classic and contemporary, about 100 symphonies, over 100 organ recitals, 35 operas, 18 oratorios and sacred works, and 28 theater pieces. It's out there, folks. The truth and beauty are out there, waiting for you to come in and enjoy them as part of the global audience. I commend them all to you, and hope your Christmas cheer starts building this week already with this week's selections. Ciao for now.